Welcome to episode 1311 of the Multifamily Collective. I'm really on a kick lately of thinking through doing less in 2023, taking a lot more out of the business, subtracting a lot more out of the business than adding to the business in 2023, simply because I think we have overdone it. We've overdone it on the premise that technology is going to give time back to everybody. Technology is going to come in and solve all of our problems. It's going to make things much more efficient. Now, we could argue, we could find all the data points that some technology has, in fact, made things a little more uh, efficient. AI leasing is potentially an example of something that has really made the front side of applicant tracking or prospect tracking or prospect experience a little more efficient, maybe a lot more efficient. But not every technology that we have put in place has made things more efficient. In fact, I would argue that it has just taken time and attention away from the customer by way of our team members. We have taxed our team members in the multifamily space with adopting all of this technology and making application of it and managing it. Just because you put a technology in place doesn't mean you don't have to manage it. Every technology has a dashboard. Every technology has a login that is necessary to get in and use the application. And if you're not paying attention to the data that's coming into the dashboard, to the app, through the platform to the dashboard, and you're not making informed decisions based on that, you're not really utilizing it uh, in the fashion that it was meant to be utilized. You're not creating outcomes with it. When you have 10 different dashboards, if you don't have the disciplines and the routines set up to review that data and to take action on that data, then you can't take action on the data. Then you don't get the outcomes, right? All of this is kind of linear and very logical. The problem is when you have 10 or 12 and you're trying to serve a consumer and you're trying to manage a prospect pipeline and you're trying to answer the phone if it still rings in your office and you have business partners that are coming in and you're doing renovations on your property. There are all kinds of things, right? Now, I've seen it both ways. I've seen people, I've heard, we are so busy, we don't have time to answer the telephone. And then I sometimes will go visit a property and the phone doesn't ring and no one comes in the office while I'm there. Sometimes I'm there an hour, sometimes I'm there 2 hours, but there is no real activity going on in the office. So, but arguably I've been there other times where I can't even meet with the manager or any of the team members because they are all consumed with activity based around the customer. There's a famous quote. It's not famous, actually. I don't think it's famous because I'd never heard of it and I read a lot of business books. But David Packard from Hewlett Packard um, said that more businesses die from indigestion than starvation. So we're not starving our team members or customers. We're not starving anybody of the use of technology or the lack of introduction of new ways of doing business or new systems or new processes, new disciplines, new trees. We're not starving anybody, right? My speculation based on David's quote is that we are suffering from a lot of indigestion right now. In my head, we have placed too much on people. Now, I've always been a team member first advocate. I'm always in the corner of cheering for the team member. Um, I'm always looking for ways to make the team member's life better, easier, more enriching. Not always hit the ball out of the park as it relates to those statements that I just made, but it is always my intention to wake up and think about the world in that way. But I think that we've allowed creep to happen. A lot of things have creeped into our business practices simply because there are so many shiny things out there that promote the idea that they will make team members' lives easier. They will make things much more efficient. And I think that is probably true in isolation. But when you think about combining, you think about it in whole, right? In total, if you've put on 10 different new initiatives, 10 different new technologies to manage, That in combination does have a real impact on the business, and not a good one. Not a good one. And I think there is this sort of arms race of who can put the most, who can sort of bolt all the pieces together and come up with the most efficient and effective way to manage property, manage real estate, to create value, to draw value out of an asset. There's been a race to do that. And I think in the race to do that, the wake that has been left behind for our team members to bounce around and navigate through is becoming and has become completely overwhelming. And it has taken us away from our real core business, and that is serving each other and serving our customers and serving our business partners. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to a place where we can just serve without all the noise going on in and around us all the time, because we feel like we've got to put a new initiative in place just because it satisfies an investor, it satisfies a client, it satisfies your own internal urge to just be busy with something. I think we need to really evaluate that in 2023. I'm going to continue to speak out on that because I think I've been a huge advocate for all of this technology over a very long bit of time, and even railed against in place legacy technologies that I think if it can just not done a good job of staying up with the pace of the way business works, buying up best of breeds and starving them of resource. Not a fan of that. Um, but now it's time to unwind a little bit. I think 2023, the year to be. It's the year to unwind. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.